Notre Dame and USC faced off yesterday, and Joe, I got to admit, it was a fun game. I know Notre Dame fans are pissed off that they gave up a lot of points. Who gives a Rudy Poo? That was a fun game. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, one really quick thing to throw out there for anyone who wants to jump in and say, oh, you gave up 360 passing yards. There were a good chunk of those passing yards that were garbage time yards when Notre Dame was up and that USC was just throwing the ball nonstop trying to get back into the game. 2 of those drives ended in pick sixes and the game ending the way that it did. This game was tense. It played true to the rivalry. And while a lot of other teams going up against their rivals, that said rival was looking for an opportunity to spoil their seasons, Notre Dame got into a tight situation and they separated. They leaned on what has been working by running the ball. And when Jeremiah Love went down with the injury that he had, hoping he has a speedy recovery, Jadarian Price stepped up and started running all over that crappy USC defensive line. And I got to give Riley Leonard, I know his stat line isn't super sexy, going 17 of 22 for 155 yards. He made some throws that he would have not converted on earlier on in the season. He made some tough, poised throws in most situations that he would have led to an interception. It would have led to an incompletion, whatever it was. But most importantly, I still think that this Notre Dame defense giving up 35 points is not reflective of how good they played in this game, because they got some huge stops. They made some big plays when they were playing sloppy and the energy and the emotion was getting to them. They made the plays necessary at the end of the game to completely shut down USC and to give them the win. So
go ahead.
All I'm saying here is that I feel vindicated for how much I have been hyping up Notre Dame and how a lot of people have been hyping up Notre Dame. They deserve to be in this playoff field. They deserve to have a home bye. They can't help who they've played.
No, they don't.
Can't help who they've played. But the fact that they're winning,
you can join a conference.
That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. It's got nothing to do with it.
They don't deserve a bye.
I didn't say that they. I know a home that they get a.
No, you said a bye. You said a bye.
Did I say bye? I didn't think I said bye.
Yeah, you said bye. That's why I started freaking out.
They deserve to have a home game in the first round. Okay, that's
fair. I'm not gonna squabble on that. But you said a bye. I'm like,
I didn't think I must have misspoke.
Joe, USC's quarterback had 5 touchdowns on him. I know I just said that, but he had 5. So your secondary did get cooked. Let's just be real.
Wait, no, he didn't. He had 3 passing touchdowns,
and he had 2 rushing. He had 5 touchdowns. Did he not?
No, he did. He had the 2 rushing touchdowns in short area, and then he had 3 passing touchdowns.
Who watched the game, me or you?
The way that you said that made it seem like he had 5 passing touchdowns.
No, I said he had 5 touchdowns. Okay. He had 2 on the ground.
Okay. What was your point?
My point is, you ain't worried about their secondary?
USC's receiving core is one of the better receiving cores in the country.
No, it ain't.
Blake. No, stop. We can't just throw out the context of the entire season that we've had and the hype that we've given to Zachariah Branch, to Deuce Robinson, to Mekhi Lemon, to Kyron Hudson. It's one of the deepest receiving cores in the country with one of the best offensive players.
When we talk about any other team not named Notre Dame, when we talk about any other team not named Notre Dame, if they beat a 6-16, that's the issue that I have here. The issue that I have here is, okay,
Blake, we have to talk about that because they're in the playoff field. Nobody else played a 6.
You had a wide receiver that had 9 catches and 133 yards on you. To act like that's nothing is bullshit, and you know it.
I'm not acting like it's nothing, but they're going up.
And I asked you, are you worried about their secondary? They got lit up yesterday. They did get lit up yesterday. What are you mad at me for? So y'all say that I'm asking dumb questions. I literally just said the same thing about Miami. Literally. Just asked you the same question about Miami and their secondary getting lit up by Kyle McCord. What's the difference in me saying y'all talking about me? Y'all are the ones being defensive of me asking you, hey, a kid in his 3rd start put up 360 on you.
It's not his 3rd start. He was a starting quarterback at UNLV all last season. Okay, so this is not the 3rd start.
You know what I mean?
That he's ever had.
USC. It's his 3rd start at USC.
And I also led into the segment by saying that a lot of the receiving and passing yards that were accumulated by USC, a decent chunk of them came in garbage time. When the game was over and they were just throwing the ball down the field to get points on the board to try and get back into it. I don't disagree with you. Christian Gray did get beat on a number of plays that he needs to play better. It was his worst game. But 2 pick sixes is nothing that we can't just ignore. When you're playing your worst game, how do you respond? They scored 2 touchdowns, their secondary.
A tight end threw one of the passes.
No, he didn't.
Maeva did not have both pick sixes.
He had 2 interceptions in this game.
No, he didn't.
Nobody else attempted a pass, unless ESPN's lying to me and my eyes were deceiving me.
What are you talking about? The double pass.
I don't know why I'm not remembering. I don't know what you're talking about. It's listed 2 interceptions.
Well, maybe I'm misremembering them because I have right here literally that a tight end threw a pick six.
That's not what the box score says.
Okay. Either way. Joe, I did like how Notre Dame ran the football, 111 yards, 99 yards. Love had the big hurdle there. Okay. I'm a freak of athlete. So is Price. Ran the ball effectively well against a team that had been stubborn in giving up rushing lanes, and that being USC.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to find the interceptions that were. No, they were both thrown by Maeva. Sorry, I just wanted to double check that I wasn't
you're
losing
just
my
in
mind.
Here for 45 seconds. Come on.
Sorry. What was the point that you just made? Sorry.
Running the football.
I keep coming back to that though for Notre Dame, that I think that the way that they could take over a game with their rushing attack and for Riley Leonard to have the impact that he does, I still think that translates in the playoff. I know that we haven't completely agreed on that, but I think that 1000% translates against a number of teams that don't have as stout of run defenses that they've seen this year.
197 yards is nothing to sneeze at. It's just so wild to me to hear that that's one of the best run defenses that you faced all year, though. They're in the 60s. They're in the, that's wild for me. That's wild to hear that it might be the best front seven that they saw, and they're in the 60s in run defense.
It definitely was one of them. It wasn't better. It's not better than the A&M defensive line that they faced, and they had success running the ball against A&M.
I just don't think that Riley's seen a team or Notre Dame. I'm going to keep in all seriousness. In all seriousness, I'm being as level-headed as I can be. I'm still going to say it every week. There's going to be a team that's going to be able to stop you from running the football. And I got to see Riley Leonard complete big-time third-down passes to beat some of these teams. All of them have flaws. I'm with you. I get it. Need to see it. Because there will be a team like a Tennessee who, Joe, if you got to face, they are going to – I'm not going to say stop. They will contain you in the running game. See it in all year. Okay? They got freaks. When you get in those I tweeted you this during the game. Literally, it was the third down pass. USC, I think, gets the ball. They go down and score. We were tweeting about it during the game. Okay? He had, on back-to-back drives that got killed, he had to throw the ball on third down, and he was really, really bad from him sitting in the pocket and throwing the ball. You know that, and I know that. That's just the nature of a beast. Can he do that moving forward? The regular season is over. You have a bye week during conference championship week, and then you got more than that going into a playoff. It's just how I see it, bud. They're playing some bad football teams right now, some bad ones. And are you going to be able to convert against these better ones is the question that I have. Now, here's another thing that I'm worried about. Joe, I've seen Mike Denbrock for 2 years here. I've never in my entire life seen him throw the ball to the running backs out of the backfield more than he has this year, ever. It makes me worry about their wide receiver core. I know the man's philosophy.
Well, there's two best playmakers, though. Like, why?
That is very fair. That is very fair. But I'm not trying to poo on Notre Dame as much as everybody is saying that I'm trying to. Like, for example, when I had a conversation with Notre Dame fans about Georgia, Haynes King is shit because we beat Georgia Tech when he didn't play, so his irrelevance of not being in the game's not there.
Yeah, I didn't think that was justified.
No, it's not justified. So, again, I'm not shitting on Notre Dame. I swear to God. I'm tweeting you after these throws, every single one of them, to make a point. Hey, man, that doesn't work against Tennessee. It doesn't. And I'm throwing out Tennessee as a random team. You know what I'm trying to say here. It's not going to work. There is a flaw and a chink in that armor. I said it with Miami. I'm saying it here. There is a chink in that armor. And if you get matched up against a right team at home or on the road, well,
I think that before we move on to Texas A&M, I don't disagree. And as Notre Dame fans, I know that there's some that hope that there's a chance that they win a national title this year. I don't think that they're good enough to win a national title. I think that there's a lot of very flawed teams this year, and I do agree with you. Notre Dame is not, they're not out of that conversation. They 100% have flaws. I have never tried to paint them to be perfect.
I didn't say you did.
I know. I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying that. I think that they're good enough, though, to win whoever they're matched up with in the first round, because I see a lot of these first round teams with a lot of messiness. I think they are good enough, as we debated last week, to beat a team like Tennessee. I think that they are good enough to 1,000% beat Arizona State, and for them to beat, if they got squared off with SMU, I think that they could beat Texas. I don't feel that confident about Texas as this sets us up for the next segment, that there is such a separation of talent and consistency. If Quinn Ewers has the interceptions that he does against Texas A&M, he 1,000% can have them against Notre Dame's secondary. So the goal here is Notre Dame get to the playoff, win the first round game, and see how you play after that. I think it starts to become really shaky after that, because that second round of the playoff is going to be super tight, because all of the matchups are going to have much stouter teams that are going to be more balanced of going up against Notre Dame's weaknesses. Like a team like Oregon, or the remaining bye-seeded teams. Notre Dame ends up as the 5 seed. They're going to go a lot further than people expect. Because if they get Arizona State and Boise, they're beating both of them.
And man, here's the truth. Can I tell you the truth? There's no way that Notre Dame deserves to be at that 5 seed. Because if you get those two teams after the weaker schedule that you've had in the regular season, if you're a realistic Notre Dame fan, there's no way you can argue that your schedule has not been weaker. They don't deserve it. There's nothing that they've done that these other teams haven't. Like,
what if Penn State gets blown out by Oregon, though? That's who they're competing with for that 5 seed.
Penn State, I don't know if they get blown out, but here's the common truth. There's going to be an SEC loser in this, and I don't think that they deserve it more than Texas. I think Texas has done more against more teams, clearly, than, if I'm not mistaken, well, they faced more teams with winning records than you.
But they also only have one good, really good ranked win, which is all right. Wait, let's jump to the Texas game before we wrap up here. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions, with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.